So I would have liked to got to this sooner, but this is the first free time I've had today. But there it is, Amy Klobuchar dropping out. Are they even trying to hide anymore what they're trying to do here? They're dropping out to give Biden the best chance because they know none of them alone can stop him. You know, I'm sure Pete at some point is going to endorse Biden too. Klob's endorsing him. Who knows who else is going to come out of the woodwork? And just like, do they have something on these people? What is their obsession? Why do they think that Biden is going to beat Trump? Why? What have they seen from this senile old man that gives them the impression that he's the best chance to go up against Trump? And the answer is that they don't. They don't think that he's the best chance to go against Trump. They just want to stop Bernie because his progressive agenda threatens their power, it threatens their cash flow, it threatens the donor class. It's what the people actually want. And the last thing they want is to empower the real people in this country. All right, let's take a breath. Now, I don't want to use the word conspiracy because of all the negative connotations that come with that, but it's like, literally, it just means people coming together, conspiring to, complete a goal. And it's so blatant at this point. Pete drops out just a couple days ago. Klobuchar, the day before. Actually, I think that might go against them, because do they have time for the early voters to get their ballots back and do something different? How much of this information is actually going to get disseminated to the voters? Like, we know that the American voter is a very low information creature. Like, I'm sure some of them are going to be, chanting Klobuchar, Klobuchar until like next week, and they won't even realize that she's out of the race until like she's not even on the TV anymore. She's like, what happened to Klobuchar? And you Google that shit. Like, oh, she dropped out. I didn't even know. So this is, it's left to be seen what effect this is going to have. Obviously, a lot of the second choice from these candidates dropping out were Bernie. A lot of people are comfortable with Bernie if they aren't like all in on him. Now, I can't understand. Like, I've asked this question before, but is familiarity really that powerful? Knowing Joe Biden is enough to think that he should be president? Just like being aware of him? Do they listen to him talk? Like, I don't want to be mean when I say that he's senile, but good God, he can barely finish a sentence. He's like, him and Trump have a very similar talking style, where you start here, and then you're like inching along, and you kind of get an idea, and then all of a sudden he just falls down, and then he kind of tries and climbs his way back up, but it's like becoming like a mudslide, and he's like digging his way, and then someone asks him a question, he calls them a lying dog-faced pony soldier, and no one knows what the fuck that means. It's the last gasp. It's their last chance to stop Bernie. And you can't help but be disappointed in Elizabeth Warren. If you're a real progressive voter, and Warren, she has the chance to drop out and endorse Bernie if what she really cares about is a progressive agenda. I don't know who got to her. This is not the same Elizabeth Warren that we got that fought for the Consumer Protection Agency. The one who took the bankers to task, who embarrassed these powerful, powerful men on live television. She was a very powerful figure. What fucking invasion of the body snatchers reality are we living in? Where they just plucked her and replaced her with this pod person who doesn't care about a real progressive agenda while simultaneously running on. I guess you don't want to be, so pure progressively that you demonize people that are only 98% on your side. That's one of the reasons why I left Facebook and the Democratic Party in general, is because I wasn't left enough for some of my former friends. It wasn't enough that I thought climate change is real and Medicare for all is good and I like immigration and I like all these things. And there's just the identity politics and a few other things that I was really against, and they just couldn't handle. I'm getting off the rails here. So Biden is going to be a Bernie and Biden and Bloomberg, the three Bs. And It's. I mean, I feel bad saying this, but it's actually kind of fun to see where this is going to go. I feel like I'm going to be miserable at least at some point during this, but it's frustrating watching the Democratic Party make the same mistake, hand-picking the candidate that they want to win, who the American people don't want. Hillary lost because they didn't want her, and she was the golden child, the chosen one, and she lost to the worst presidential candidate in history. Did you see that Washington Post article? I was asking about whether elites should have more influence on the primary. The primary isn't for the people. The general is for the people. But it's not a real choice if the party elites are picking the candidate. It's a false choice. That's the voting for the lesser of two evils. It's, when you have a two-party system, you can design it to be that way. It doesn't have to be the lesser of two evils. Bernie, you can disagree with him. You can really vehemently disagree with him, but you can't deny his authenticity. You can't deny that he really, really wants to help people. That's what he wants. What does Biden want? What do any of these people want? Authenticity is what got Trump into the White House. It wasn't even honesty that got him in the White House. Everyone knows he's a fucking liar. He's not even a liar. He's a bullshitter. He just talks. He just says shit. And Bernie, he's been the same person for decades. And he's real. He's a real person who cares about real people. And they don't want that. It's just sheer political calculus. It's maddening. So, with Klobuchar being out, you kind of think that Minnesota is probably good for Bernie's hands at this point, because I'm pretty sure he was in second place in Minnesota, but you never know. I think, I don't want to jinx this. I don't really believe in that, but I still think Bernie's got a really good chance to run away with this thing. I mean, if it's just down to the three main candidates, I'm counting out Warren at this point. I don't think that there's enough support behind her for anyone to go to bat for her. There's I think the Biden people who are worried about his mental state are going to go to Bloomberg. Democrats voting for a Republican to be the candidate is what world are we living in? Where a Republican billionaire is going to be the potential face of the Democratic Party. And they wonder why they lost the working class, why they rejected Hillary. The lack of self-reflection and self-awareness is stunning. And I can't believe it still surprises me. Well, like I said, it's just the day before. Who knows how much impact this is going to have. Super Tuesday. It's going to be a big day. I'm going to be watching the polls all day. I'm not going to get any work done tomorrow. And, we'll pray. We'll pray to FDR, to his ghost, for a new deal for all of us, and a new deal for the voter, to bring the power back to the individual, because the elites have had enough power for long enough, and they don't need more. So thanks for listening. Yang 2020.